So where we were in December current affairs. So where we were in the page number 11. Okay. So now question is what about collect the collect intelligence related Wildlife Crime Control Bureau to disseminate the same and establish a centralized wildlife crime data, assist the advice custom authority and assist international organization concerned Universal Action Wildlife Crime Control Bureau. All of are there. So Wildlife Crime Control Bureau is statutory multidisciplinary body, Government of India and the Ministry of Foreign Exchange, and collect the collect data and the wildlife activity and centralized wildlife crime data and foreign authority and international organizations concerned to facilitate coordination Universal Action Wildlife Crime Control Bureau, and advise the custom authority in inspection of consignment of flora and fauna and Government of India on issue relating wildlife crimes and having national international ramification, relevant policy and law and scientific professional investigation into wildlife crime and assist state governments. Okay, so now next one is the coastal ecosystem mangrove and tidal marshes and provided numerous benefits. So regulation of coastal water quality, sequestering store coastal blue carbon, protecting the storms and sea level rise, and provision to habitat for commercially important fisheries and food security to the many coastal communities. So the coastal ecosystem mangrove, tidal marshes and seagrasses window provides numerous benefits and essential climate change adaptation along with coastal globally, including the protection of storms and sea level rise, prevention shoreline erosion, regulation coastal water quality, provision of habitat for commercially important fishery, endangered marine species and food security many coastal community. Additionally, these ecosystems sequester and store significant amount of coastal blue carbon from the atmosphere and ocean and hence are now recognized for their role in the mitigating the climate change. Now next one is the coal burnt is released a number of airborne toxin and pollutant like lead, mercury, nitrous oxide and sulfur dioxide. Okay, so this is the coal burn. It's released a number of airborne toxin and pollutant. They include the carbon dioxide, mercury, lead, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxides, and health impact can be ranged from the asthma and breathing difficulties, brain damage, heart problem, cancer, neurological disorder, and premature death. Okay, next one is carbon offsetting allow a country to help reach its own emission reduction target by funding emission reduction in another country. United Nations Clean Development is set up 97 Kyoto Protocol carbon offsetting scheme. Carbon offset can be both individual and companies and countries. So all of our power rights. So carbon offsetting is allow country to help reach in their own emission reduction target, funding emission reduction in another country. UN Clean Development Mechanism and Kyoto Protocol countries are by country emission reduction targets. So a scheme was designed to help fund emission reduction and developing country while also providing offset credit to the developed world to help meet its Kyoto targets. And it's a CDM which will have handed over the 2 billion carbon credits called the certain emission reductions and carbon dioxide reductions, and its offset can be bought by individual company and country. Next one is sperm whale is the protected species wildlife protection act. Ambergris is a waxy substance originate from the digestive system. In India, ambergris is a tradable commodity since they have high medicinal property. So it's not a tradable commodity. Okay, so ambergris, which means grey amber in the French, is a waxy substance that originates from the digestive system of protective sperm and whales. Been on the possession and trade of ambergris is country USA, Australia, India, in the several other countries and tradable commodity, but sperm whale are the protected species under Schedule 2 of Wildlife Protection Act. In possession, trade, byproduct including ambergris byproduct illegal under the provision of Wildlife Protection Act. So next one is the trace metal like cadmium, copper. So track the movement of water masses responsible ocean circulation, study biological and geochemical ecosystem process, food web, and understand the nutrient cycling and productive ocean. So these are some cadmium and copper essential for the ocean productivity. So trade metal like cadmium and copper are supplied to ocean via continental runoff, atmospheric deposition, hydrothermal activity and continental shelf interaction. The essential for ocean productivity, and scientists say that it is important to understand the interaction of trace metal with marine biota for the having a holistic understanding about the nutrient cycling and productivity. And apart from the isotopic forms of trace metal can be utilized to track the movement of water responsible for ocean circulation, biological, geochemical and ecosystem process. Okay, next one is consider the following regarding the green hydrogen. So green hydrogen generated through the renewable energy source, and the carbon generated from the process is captured and stored without dispersing its atmosphere. Generated to the renewable energy source, and the carbon generated from the process captured and stored without dispersing it. It's not true. But the major challenge uses green hydrogen will be storage, and because of require large volume of storage. Okay. So hydrogen generated through the renewable energy is the green, generated from the process is captured and stored without dispersing its atmosphere. When a carbon is not captured, hydrogen is labeled grey. But many challenges uses of green hydrogen will be the storage. Given the very low density of hydrogen, it will require large volume of its storage. And alternatively, if one choose to store it in liquid form, reducing the storage space require maintenance of temperature. This will entail huge cost, and the production cost of green hydrogen has been considered to be the prime obstacle to the use of green hydrogen. Now next one is Operation Save Kurma is a tackle poaching, transportation and illegal trade of turtle and tortoise, and Operation Clean Art is the illegal wildlife trade in the mangoes and bushes. Okay, but the Operation Leshko is the tackle illegal trade of tooth shovel is not true, and the Operation Soft Gold is a tackle illegal wildlife trade in the lesser non-species wildlife. That's not true. Next one is Operation Birbil is to tackle the illegal trade of live birds. Operation Free Fly is a tackle illegal trade in wild cat and wild birds. Cat and birds is free fly, and Birbil is not for the birds. Birbil is for the cats and birds. Okay, and it's asking which is the correct, and free buy is also illegal trade of birds only. So it's for the birds or not for the cats. Operation Wetmark is the ensure prohibition of meats. Operation Operation aims to wildlife trade over internet using social media platform. So it's social media is a vidnet. Okay, so only B is true, rest all are not true, because Birbil is for the birds and cats, and free buy is for only for the birds. Now next one is consider the following statement regarding National Board for Wildlife. So National Board for Wildlife is a statutory board. Wildlife Protection Act. National Board for Wildlife has power to review all wildlife related matters, approve project in and around national park and sanctuary. And the role of National Board for Wildlife is advisory in nature and advise the central government on framing the policy measures and conservation of wildlife. So the statutory organization constituted under the Wildlife Protection Act, and its total is advisory in the nature and advise central government framing policy and measure for the conservation wildlife and wildlife related matters, and approved project is in around national parks and a sanctuary. An alternation to boundary in national park and wildlife sanctuary can be done without approval of this, and it's chaired by Prime Minister. Okay, now next one is at the maximum percent India electricity generation is from renewable source of energy. That's not true. But among fossil fuel, coal constitutes the maximum share of the electricity. That's true. So 80% electricity generated from fossil fuel, and maximum share is the coal. Okay. Next one is like Buxa is the West Bengal, and Buxa is the non-high target density. So not the high target density. So this is the an increase in the forest density have the big prey bears, especially deer, had attracted Royal Bengal tiger. A first such sighting 23 year to Buxa Reserve, Erupur district of North Bengal. So now next one is it is shrub which produces on the orange yellow color is sea buckthorn, and soil binding plants prevent soil erosion, check siltation, and India it is found the Himalaya region, generally dry areas such as cold desert of Ladakh and Spiti. Okay, so it is a shrub which products a orange yellow colored berry and found the tree in the Himalaya region, generally in the dry and cold desert Ladakh, Spiti, Himachal Pradesh. It is locally called the charma, and grow wild in the Lahul and Spiti. And it's a medicine. Sea buckthorn has been widely used for treating the stomach, heart, and skin problem. In last few decades, scientific research worldwide has begged many of the traditional uses, and it's a vitamin and carotenoids and omega fatty acids, and among the substance and help troops to assimilating to high altitudes, prevent the soil erosion, check the siltation, and helps to preserve the floral biodiversity. Next is what? Consider the following. Decarbonization refer to the conversion of economic system of individual carbon emitting entity, reducing the carbon intensity of emission over the time. So it's not true, but the carbon credit is electronic unit that represent the CO2 equivalent that is reduced or sequestered from the project and approval carbon credit methodology. Okay, so decarbonization means the reduction of carbon. More specifically, the term refers to the conversion of the ecosystem, an individual carbon emitting entity converting to reduce the carbon intensity of its emissions, and carbon credit is electronics and sterilized one of ton CO2 equivalent to reduce and avoid sequestered from the project approved carbon credit methodology. Now next one is the Ministry of Environment for statutory constitution obligation to protect the forest in India. Approval for the use of forest land for non-forest use is granted in the provision of Forest Act, and protection area including national park are not allowed to the non-forestry purpose. This is also allowed to the non-forestry purpose. Okay, so non-forestry under the Forest Conservation Act and protected area including the national park sanctuary has been recommended standing committee, National Board of Wildlife, and it's a UT wise approved area for the forest land and non-forestry purpose Jammu Kashmir, and approval Madhya Pradesh higher and approval biodiversity. Now Kino is high yield citrus tree that is in Punjab. Okay, so Kino is the high yield which is total waste of farmer can collect these drop fruits and from the Kino field, and bioenzyme at the low cost, and Kino is the low duration. And horticulture department say nearly 15 to 20% of the total Kino production falls from the tree before and during the harvesting. Next one is Researcher Geological Survey of India taking the olive ridley turtle as a Rushikulya Turkey along Odisha, and it would be help in identify migration path place visiting the olive ridley sea turtle after the nesting, and taking of olive ridley sea turtle undertaken in Odisha every year. So it's not every year, so it's about 25 year is the taking of the undertaking the Odisha. Okay, next. Recently, researcher on the Geological Survey of India carried out the taking of olive ridley turtle. This would help identifying the migration path of the olive ridley, inter-rookery movement of turtle, and measure the growth of the turtle. So the scientists resumed the taking of olive ridley sea turtle Rushikulya Turkey, which would be help them identify the migration path of place visiting the marine reptile and congregation nesting, and it's studying the path for that they keep coming to the nesting sites and egg, and number of sites growth of turtle could be measured during the current study and inter-rookery movement of turtle. So next one is Renuka wetland is Himachal Pradesh, and Karbartal wetland is Bihar, but the Harike is in Punjab, and Vadwana is also in the Gujarat. Okay, so alright, next one is it is the purified form with the major content of butane and propane. So bio-CNG there is no butane, but 95% is methane gas bio-CNG. Okay, it's not a butane or propane. So and it can be obtained pure cellulosic biomass, and it's India help to reduce import dependency of petroleum products. So there is the polysaccharides like primary sugar, spent wash, and mud, waste, food grain, and semi-cellulosic biomass, rice, wheat, soya, napier grass, cellulosic biomass, and cotton, and bagasse and bamboo. So it's similar natural composition, 97% methane and Protein, which is natural gas, is the bio-CNG, is renewable energy produced by agriculture, food waste, environment friendly, and it can use to power automobile with the same efficiency, and it has high calorific value, and it can be converted into the electricity. Okay, now next one is the ocean has several micronutrients. So it's continent of shelf and runoff, then atmospheric deposition and hydrothermal activity. So we can say the trace of metal, cadmium and copper supply continental runoff, atmospheric deposition, hydrothermal activity and continental interaction. Next is consider the following statement regarding the wet bulb temperature. So wet bulb temperature is used to measure both heat and humidity of place, and it represents the lowest temperature air can reach the evaporation of the water. And it's okay, and generally dry heat wave is more dangerous than the humid. So whale bulb temperature is the measure heat of humidity. A humid heat wave is a lot more dangerous compared to a dry heat wave. Okay, and while the human skin is temperature around 35 degree, a whale bulb temperature heat means sweat can no longer be used to cool the body. So represent the lowest temperature air can reach the evaporation of the water, and internally the whale bulb globe temperature is calculated by the using global thermometer and additionally accounting for solar radiation and wind speed. So what is the whale bulb temperature? So whale bulb temperature is the lowest temperature to which air can cool by the evaporation of water, and measured by the factoring heats and humidity, and theoretically its whale bulb temperature reaches 35 degree, and highest point it means human can no longer lose internal body heat sweating, and this could potentially lead to heat risk. So there is 63-day whale bulb in Delhi, and this all. Okay, now Nigin Lake is in Jammu and Kashmir and located Srinagar. Okay, and Chillai Kalan is in Kashmir Valley. This is the 40-day harvest spell Chillai Kalan. Okay, next is government scheme. So MP only recommend project, but the final choice of implementation rests with district authority. Okay, and the scheme is Ministry of Aesthetics program implementation, and there is per guideline 100% utilization of fund allocated to the mandatory. It's not mandatory, so C is not true. Okay, it's a Ministry of Statistical and the program implementation, and recommended projects and implementation rests with the district authority, and utilization fund 49 to 90% booked amounts, and comptroller, auditor and general clear expenditure incurred. Now next is the pre-legislation consultation. Is a pre-legislation consultation mandate to the what whether government make the and draft version of the domain. Okay, and the policy say the note explaining the law simple language, justifying the proposal, its financial implication and its impact environment and fundamental rights. Okay, and was adopted through the act of parliaments. So it's not adopted through the act of parliaments, but the pre-legislation consultation policy mandate that whenever government makes any law, bill, rule, regulation, it must place a draft version of public domain 30 days. The policy also say that the also with the draft and impact of environment, fundamental right, study of social and financial cost, and should be uploaded, and it was the formulated in based on the broad recommendation National Advisory Council headed by Sonia Gandhi and National Commission to review the working of Constitution. It's institutionalized space, public participation, law-making process, and forum for citizens, relevant stakeholder to interact with policymaker in the executing the initial stage of lawmaking. Absence of statutory constitutional rights is affects. Now consider the following: spending the health. So India's total public spending is 2.5% of the GDP. So it's 1.13%, still 1.35% only we are going for the health, and union government, so it is wrong, and spend third of the total government spending, whereas majority is the borne by state. So B is the true. Okay, now next one is SATAT is theme. It's a exact like natural gas association and compressed biogas and biomanure. It's oil marketing companies, natural gas association, and rural household incentive supply locally available biomass including bubble dung and compressed set up SATAT. So that is not set up in the SATAT. Okay, SATAT is for the initiative aim setting up the compressed biogas and make the available market to automotive fuel by the inviting the expression internet from the potential entrepreneur Ministry of Petroleum Natural Gas Association with the public sector undertaking oil marketing company Bharat Petroleum Corporation, Ministry of Petroleum Natural Gas, Bharat Petroleum Corporation and Hindustan Petroleum Corporation, Government of India under chartered initiative invests setting up 5,000 plants by with production targets, and statement C is not such a scheme. Next is for enhancing the India manufacturing capability, pharmaceutical drugs, white goods and textile and apparel, toy is not there, and the food products. So that is the government implement production link incentive scheme for the following. So for the toy, this is not for the production like manufacturing capability or exports. So production link incentive scheme is not for the toy but pharmaceutical, white goods and textile and food products. Okay, so keeping in view to vision becoming the Atmanirbhar and the enhancing the India manufacturing capability and the exports, so has been announced the union budgets 13 key sector 5 year starting from the fiscal, and already 3 stored named the mobile manufacturing, special electronic component, critical key starting material, drug in intermediary and active pharmaceutical ingredient pharma, then white goods, then food products, textile products, high efficiency solar PV model, advanced chemical cell batteries and telecom network products, and special steel and automobile model. Now next one is national institution ranking framework rank only the centrally funded institution such as Indian Institute of Technology and Central, but NIRF was adopted by Ministry of Education and its first year efforts to government to rank higher education. So Ministry of Education is for that, and its ranking framework rank only the centrally funded institution. It's not true. So first ever efforts to government to rank higher education, and it's a state-run higher education institution together with the centrally funded institution and Ministry of Education. So it's a national institution ranking framework rank only the central, only is not the together with the central funding, not the only words will be used here. Okay. National Institute for Ranking Framework assesses education institution on which of the following parameters. So is teaching, learning, research and graduation and outreach inclusive. All of 3 are there. Okay. Now majority of the dams in India during the 20th century. So it's not true. It's 20th century was 1039 and 70 years 20th century. So that was not true. But the ownership of dam maintenance predominantly fall in purview of the states, and the Central Water Commission is apex body. Okay, for the dam safety. So Central Water Commission has been the functioning apex body, and ownership of dam and their maintenance predominantly fall with the purview of the states. Next is consider the following statement regarding Telecom Regulatory Authority of India. So TRAI is the Establishment Act of Parliaments. Okay, and it's one of the objective to provide a fair, transparent policy environment promoting level playing fields amongst the players as air company, and TRAI regulate the telecom service but does not have power to tariff fixing. That's not true. So see, the Telecom Regulatory Authority was established Act of Parliament called the Telecom Regulatory Authority of India, and to regulate fixation of tariff for the telecom service, and were earlier vested central government. So main objective of TRAI is to fair and transparent policy environment which promote a level playing fields, facilitate the fair competition, and it's a ordinance effective telecommunication dispute settlement appellate tribunal to take adjudicated dispute function from the TRAI. Now consider the following regarding Essential Commodity Acts. So Essential Commodity Acts Parliament India established ensure the delivery certain commodity supply of which observed owing to hoarding and black marketing will not be there. State can include the new commodity as and when its needs arise, and only the center can take them off the list once situation improve. No, an act empower the central state to control production, supply and distribution of the commodity. That's also not true. But second one is the true and one is not true, because it's India which was established to ensure the delivery certain commodity or product, the supply of which is obstructed to hoarding, black marketing would affect the normal life of the people. So Essential Commodity Act Parliament of India which has established to ensure the delivery of certain commodity, supply of which obstruct owing to hoarding and black marketing and affect the normal life of people. So here it's what are the incorrect. It's are the incorrect. But first is correct because of it's itself saying and the empower the center state government conducted to control production, supply and distribution certain commodity. That's also true. But the state can include new commodity as and needs arise, and only the center can take them off the list once situation improves. So only the center is the not correct. Okay, so additional the government can also fix the maximum retail price package product that is the declared by essential commodities. Center can include new commodities when the needs arise and the take them off the list once a situation improve. Okay, so this is the empower the central state government to concurrently control production, supply, distribution of the certain commodity and rising of price. Now consider next question is the bulk of semiconductor manufacturing and supply capabilities concerned is country like Taiwan, Korea and Japan. India production link incentive is 100% cost setting greenfield and fiscal support. That's not true. So India production incentive scheme intend to give 50% cost setting. Okay, not 100%. It's 50% for the greenfield. Okay, next one is the Sinho Commission was constituted to recommend welfare measure for the economic weaker section and present person who are not covered under the scheme reservation SC, ST and other backward class and whose family are gross annual income 8 lakh for the benefit reservation. The ceiling for the EWS same as the limits for determining OBC creamy layer for the reservation. Okay, so this is the ceiling for the determination EWS same as limit determined by other backward class creamy layer, and person who are not covered under the scheme or the SC, ST and OBC and whose family are gross annual income 8 lakh are to be identified EWS for the benefit of reservation. Sinho Commission recommended that all below poverty line family within the general category and notified from the time to time, and also all family with annual family income from the all sources below taxable limits show the identify the EWS. Now next is the under the Indian Constitution cooperative are concurrent list. So cooperative are not in the concurrent list, they are the state subjects. Okay, so it's wrong. And in India there are the many cooperative society whose number and area operating are spread across the more than one state, and at the Ministry of Agriculture administer legally possible framework of the cooperative. That's not true. So there is a different ministry, like Ministry of Cooperation is the ministry under the government of India. The ministry provides the separate administration legal policy framework for the strengthening cooperative movement in the India. Next one is Digital India Media over the top platform in India regulated by its Ministry of Information and Broadcasting is the Digital Media Ethics Code given by them. Now consider the following statement regarding the Foreign Contribution Regulation Act is the NGO associated to receive foreign funds. Okay, and consider the philanthropic work, missionary charity, a Catholic region. Said the Mother Teresa is the exemption from the it's not exemption from the. So the Foreign Contribution Regulation is mandatory for the NGO association to receive the foreign funds. And the Home Ministry is a review the FCRA missionary of charity and Catholic religion in the noble laureates of Mother Teresa. Now next is consider the following about the regarding recently launched Indian Space Association. So ISRO is the sector arm of the ISRO. So it's not true. It's a Modi launched the Indian Space Association consisting the various stakeholders in Indian space. The member of the organization include government bodies such as Indian ISRO, Telecom Company and Bharti Airtel, OneWeb, Tata Group, Nelcom, L&T and MAPE India and others. So ESA will be represent leading domestic and global corporation that have advanced capability in the space. And A is not true, but it's a building global linkage, bring critical advancement and will be represented by leading domestic global corporation advanced capability in the space. Next is consider the following the prohibition of child marriage bill raise the age of marriage, and all religious community have codified personal law deal with all not. Prohibition of child marriage bill was referred to the standing committee raised the age of the marriage 21, and the Muslim does not have codified personal law but Muslim Personal Association Act, and it's apply in the question regarding the marriage dissolution, marriage maintenance, dowry and guardianship and the gifts. Next one is the Indian Council of Cultural Research is the autonomous organization to Government of India involve the cultural exchange of the people. It was founded by Jawaharlal Nehru, so it's Maulana Abdul Kalam Azad who founded this, and it can be issue binding order promotes. It's not a binding, okay, it's not a binding issue in the culture like making it mandatory to the play Indian music, so it's not a binding. The Ministry of Civil Aviation returned the Indian Airlines airport to country asking the Indian music and request the Indian Council for Cultural Relation. Now next is science. Consider the following regarding the distribution ledger technology. It is a technology regarding the transaction asset which is detailed recorded in multiple places. Blockchain technology is specified kind of distributed ledger technology, and unlike traditional database distributed as central data stored to administration functionally. So blockchain is the decentralized data, not the centralized data first of all. So its asset will be and their details are recorded in multiple places, and distributed ledgers are no central data and administration functionally, but it's a blockchain which revolutionized the new government institution. Blockchain is a kind of DLT. It's a prominence of Bitcoin cryptocurrency, and it's a Bitcoin code of crypto transaction and creating the blockchain. It is used for the code differentiate the cryptocurrency and virtual currency. Next one is antibody are the first line of defense against viral infection and monococcal are okay, and every single mutation of the virus increase the virulence of the combination of them or the aggregate and virus property. That's not true, but antibody are the first line of defense against the viral infection, and monococcal antibody are the used in the treatment. WHO is the design to Omicron SARS-CoV-2 variant of concern. WHO several weeks to design the emerge several of the mutation convert the virus resistant to the monococcal antibodies such as the itazumab and its antibody are the first line defense against the viral infection and treatment. Every single mutation does not independently increase, and combination of them might sometimes temper to sometimes aggravate virus property. Next is which of the following is secure data transmission? Messaging, payway, gateway, wireless microphone, bit, Bluetooth and ATM. So all of four are messaging and gateway and mobile telephone, wireless telephone, Bluetooth and mobile telephone machine. Consider the following. In space, the single window nodal agency established both the commercial and Indian space, and it promote the non-governmental private entity in the in space. Okay, so in space is the Space Promotion Authorization Center, which single window nodal agency boosts the commercialization of the space and supplement to the Indian space research. The promote the entry of non-governmental private entity in the Indian space. The agency will also facilitate onboarding private player in the sector, encouraging policy in the friendly regulation environment, and creating synergy through the already necessary facility. Next is Acinetobacter baumannii and Enterococcus is the coliar. It's a pathogen that have the ability to develop resistance to antibiotics. So some of the pathogen took the Acinetobacter baumannii. It's a E. coli and Salmonella. It's a implemented causative agent healthcare infection because of the ability to develop resistance to antibiotics. Next is Pentavalent Vaccine provides which of the following disease? So it's for the diphtheria and for the tetanus and for the pertussis, not for the hepatitis C. So diphtheria, tetanus and pertussis is the pentavalent vaccine for the agency of 5 major diphtheria, tetanus, pertussis, not for the hepatitis C or for the hepatitis B also, and influenza type of B. Hubble space is for the tracking the object and discovering the moon and probing the supermassive black hole and capturing the comet colliding. So it was the Hubble. Okay, now next is artificial intelligence. So it is using for the credit card, GPS, identity, nutrient deficiency, self-driving vehicle and personalized online shopping. So all of them are there. Now consider the following statement regarding the bioenzyme. So bioenzyme are organic solution produced fermentation of organic waste, fruits, vegetable, and mixing of sugar, jaggery, molasses. Yeast can be used as a slowdown to process of fermentation. So yeast is the for the fasten the process of fermentation. Okay, next is which one of the following is using nanotechnology, delivering active drug to target tissue and delivering drug at cell level using DNA based monostructure, manipulation of nanoscale biological specimen and bacteria, virus, protein, human body. So it's a nano Michelle is an emerging platform drug delivery eye, and conventionally nanoparticles are said to be hydrophobic and hence unsuitable for delivering water soluble drug, and been overcome by the development of nanomicelle, which is capable of delivering the water soluble drug, and DNA and nanostructure can be used to make the drug delivery system. Even the small size DNA nanostructure delivering the drug at cell level. So manipulation fragile biological specimens such as bacteria, virus, and protein. Next is graphene is for the solar, touch screen, biosensor, and wearable device. Heart rate monitors all work are doing by graphene. Next one is protein needs to be take precise three-dimensional shape, and misfolding of protein can cause a number of disease, and most of time protein folding happen automatically. This not happen automatically. So protein needs to be take precise three-dimensional become, and protein folding does not happen by itself. At least most of the time special bunch of protein called molecular assist correctly folding of protein, and misfolding of protein can cause the number of disease. Parkinson's disease, an aberrant folding crystalline of eye lens leads cataracts and eye lens protein called the alpha crystalline. Next one is the traditional way of diagnosing cancer through the histopathology is that tissue of examined under the microscope. Digital histolopathy is a learning technique to machine learning to diagnose the cancer and tumor. Okay, so Institute of Technology Madras, combination of deep learning technique and the traditional machine learning. So slide image of tumor and has tested the database breast, liver, and colon cancer. Economical in the term of the required process, and it's a 20 micron thick, and it's a traditionally like highly consuming, and it's elevating the burden that digital histography develop, and preparing the entire slides scan using the high resolution microscope. This is analyzing the using computerized tool. Next one is the carbon nanotube. They are used for the semiconductor, used for the reinforced graphene, and they are container for the transporting a drugs in the body. Next is consider the following. The consumption of alcohol by pilot can be known the conducting pre-file and post-file breath analysis test, and when the blood alcohol level are zero body, there will be no effect on the hangover. So even after the blood alcohol level are zero body, there could be some effect on hangover, which is mainly due to congeners. And conducting the pre-file post-flight breath analyzer test. So general aviation has issued the guidelines, and alcohol can be like interfered with the enzymic cellular process or oxidation, causing hypoxia and reduce an individual tolerance with the increase the altitude. And consumption of alcohol results significant deterioration of psychomotor and decrease the amount of mental capacity, which is essential involve the conduct the safe flight. Consider the following. It's a carbon nanotube higher strength than steel. So carbon nanotube is the tube shaped material having a diameter measuring the nanometer, and researcher textile exhibit high electricity conductivity and toughness about 50 times higher than the copper film currently being used electronics, and it's 100 times stronger than but only 1/6 heavy, and nanotube fiber could strengthen almost any material. So it's not it's higher strength but also weight significantly more. That's not true, but they can conduct heat and electricity better than copper. Okay, next is parvovirus. Recently it's a dogs. So parvo highly contagious virus disease can be life threatening. Puppies and dog parvovirus affect the internal canine, with puppy being the susceptible. and drastic weight loss, dehydration, lethargy, and virus are 90% of monthly deaths and highly contagious spread through the direct contact of infection dogs and with a contaminated object. Consider the following. It's a non-invasive treatment of cancer, proton therapy, and once proton therapy conducted, the patient has very minimum chance of getting cancer from the residual cancer called gain. So proton therapy is a very precise radiation therapy used for the cancer cell energy proton pass in the body. Conventionally, radiation therapy involves the beaming high energy proton, but the X-ray radiation proton therapy is type of external beam radiation delivering. Consider the following in the regarding LIDAR. So it is a remote sensing method from pulses laser calculate the object variable distance, and it can be used for generate three-dimensional information about the shape of Earth, and the LIDAR is restricted to natural environment. That's not true. Actually, dimensional about the shape of Earth, and its light in the form of pulses laser measure ranges of the Earth, and LIDAR is topographic and bathymetric. Topographic LIDAR typically use near infrared laser map plane, while bathymetric LIDAR is water penetration. Green lights also measure the seafloor, and LIDAR system also scientific mapping of professional to examine the both natural and man-made environment accuracy and flexibility and produce more accurate shoreline maps and digital elevation. Use geographical information to assist the emergency response operation and many other applications.